Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting the like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, or really does help out the channel. I can't express that enough. Thank you so much, and let's crack on with it. Much love, guys. Now this story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from OKTruth9183. And it says, am I the arsehole for always hosting child-free events? So I, female, mid-20s, love hosting events, like a Halloween party, Valentine's Day, Friendsgiving, game nights, etc. I usually like to keep things small, only inviting close friends or relatives, mine or my partner's. I have very few house rules, but the one big one is that all events are child-free. These events include themed food and decorations, drinking games, smoking flower, so a very much adult party. I even have air mattresses and a pull-out couch for guests who can't drive home. The problem being most of my friends and family do not have kids and want to stay that way. On my partner's side is the opposite. We are planning a New Year's party, and my partner's family is complaining that they can't go because of their kids. Mind you, both sets of grandparents can babysit for each of his siblings' kids. My partner tried to convince me to make the party child inclusive this one time, but I refused. My reasonings are: the party will obviously last past midnight and they are kids. Our pets do not like kids, as these specific ones have no boundaries. Another one, I do not like kids. I do not feel like being responsible if their parents decide to get drunk. It's completely unnecessary and will hinder the party as people will have to watch what they say or do in front of the kids. His reasoning: his family feels like we push them away. He never makes an effort to see them or plan stuff with them specifically. The kids can sleep on the air mattress, couch, or our bed. His siblings think it's unfair to exclude them because of their kids. Only their kids are excluded. We should want to spend time with his nibblings. Family above everything. I think me being around kids will change my mind about having them. We're on the verge of cancelling the party, and me co-hosting with my friend at her place, completely excluding his family against his wishes. I also want to add that these events are planned and paid for by me. My partner agrees on the date, but the actual organisation and financial aspect is taken care of by me. So I'm here to ask if I'm the arsehole, and if you guys would understand if you were one of the parents invited. Oh my bloody word, absolutely not the arsehole, and you're hosting these adult parties that you plan and pay for. And like you said, the grandparents are available to babysit, so this isn't even a real issue, is it? It shouldn't be anyway. But it feels like what is actually happening with your partner never making an effort with his family, so now they're using your parties as some kind of like scapegoat. One of his points was what family is above everything, so why isn't he organizing family-friendly gatherings that they can all go to? Why isn't he doing that? But there was a huge red flag, and I don't think I'm overreacting when I say this, because there was the thing that came out. They think me being around kids will change my mind about having them. Like they see your choice of being child-free as temporary, like, you know, if they put enough children around you, if they expose you to enough kids, eventually you're going to change your mind. And your partner said this to you. Now, if he respected this, you'd have thought he'd have shut that shit down immediately. But instead, he used it as a reason to justify hosting kids at your event. Wild, right? And I think that conversation needs to come up sooner than anything else, really. Like, do you actually think I'll change my mind? Because I won't. A gentlewoman never tell says this indicates a deep issue. As you say, your partner does nothing to keep in touch with his family. For lots of hetero couples, women often take this kind of emotional maintenance on their partner's behalf. He clearly wants you to do this but is unwilling to be honest, probably because he's lazy/doesn't want conflict. This will be a perpetual issue in your relationship, so as long as you're unwilling to emotionally maintain his relationships for him, and he is unwilling to maintain them on his own. Not the arsehole, but it's a huge relationship issue you guys need to figure out. Not the arsehole. Sirius says the bigger issue is that you said he hopes having kids around would make you change your mind about wanting kids. If he wants kids and you don't, why are you guys together? Hope you reply saying his family hopes that. He wants to remain child-free but doesn't want to tell his family. Teresaz says, haven't seen that name in a while, not the arsehole. Your partner's family members can host their own party and include kids. Your partner is welcome to join them if he wants. There's absolutely nothing wrong with hosting a party that is adults only. I agree with cancelling the party and co-hosting at your friend's place. Partner's family is less likely to show up with their kids in tow at someone else's home. Understand that you have a partner problem. He isn't co-hosting parties but wants you to cater to the demands of his family. He doesn't maintain his own relationship with his family but wants you to take on their expectations. No, drop the rope. Going forward, don't invite partner's family to any of your parties. With Christmas coming, don't do any of the work for their gifts from partner. It's his responsibility to make holiday arrangements with his family and to buy and wrap any gifts for them. Don't coordinate plans with his family or respond to their questions directly. I'll let partner know you asked. He'll get back to you. And one more comment from Uncle Ned is Dead, who says not the arsehole. He can host and pay for his own kid-friendly parties to accommodate his family. I bet he will only do it once and lots of things will be destroyed by children and the parents will not make things right because kids will be kids. And that's what you get when you have a family party. So move anything you value and can't easily replace to a storage locker or your car trunk and let him have the full experience of hosting a family-friendly party and clean up afterwards. Plus, a lot of parents expect other people to look after their kids for them while they get smashed at these parties. It might help him develop a backbone to standing up to his family. Why don't they host their own parties in their child-proofed houses? Well, right, because it's expensive, a lot of work, and a lot of cleanup afterwards. So Opie comes in with their first update and said, so I read a lot of your comments and want to clarify some things. The dog is his. I said ours because we live together, but he came into the relationship with a dog that doesn't like kids, adopted through a shelter. My partner is more than welcome to host his family at our place outside of my events. All event dates are ran through my partner to make sure he doesn't already have any plans at our place. I don't like kids, as in all kids should be respected, loved and treated kindly. However, if I can choose to be at an event with or without them, I'm picking without. It's hard to relax around them because I'm always worried and keeping an eye out for them. I feel responsible, especially in my own home. Now to the update. I will be co-hosting the party at my friend's and taking my cats with me. He'll be throwing his family a kid-friendly New Year's Eve party. We agreed all breakables and adult stuff will be in our room with his dog. The guest/dog room will be available for the kids to sleep. Overall, he read your comments and apologized for putting me in that position where I'm the bad one for the preferences we both have. He also apologized for not standing up to his family about pushing for a kid-friendly party and for pushing himself. He's thinking about how he's going to tell his family that he is and will remain child-free. I also did ask him if he wants to do child-free parties like Easter or Christmas parties. I can definitely help him. He said he didn't want to, seeing how much this New Year's Eve party was going to cost, especially because bringing the kids means more mouths to feed, as well as some type of entertainment for the kids so they won't be bored, as we don't have kids' toys or anything. Thank you for all your helpful advice. Honestly, I'm a little nervous because I'm not going to be there for the event, but at least he's seeing more of his family. Some people on the back of this one saying good compromise, some people worried about the dog, other people saying that the boyfriend hasn't learned a bean and this is going to go horribly. But OP does give us another update. Before we go any further, if you're on YouTube, have a guess before we go any further on how the party went. Lock in and let's get started. It says, there has been people asking me for an update, so here it goes. It is long. My party went amazingly. Even some of my partner's MP cousins came, without their kids of course. His party went almost exactly how a lot of you predicted. Please keep in mind I was not there and I'm just telling you guys what he told me. First and foremost, he made sure to go over house rules for each family as they arrived. Again, those rules being, no going into our bedroom. The dog's room is available if needed with a full-size bed. No touching our gaming consoles. Some are in the living room as that's how we watch our streaming services/TV, the others were in our room. And keep an eye on your kids. First complaints were that we didn't have enough entertainment for the kids. We got dollar store coloring books with crayons and coloring pencils, goldfish, action figures / dolls, and Capri Sun. When the kids got bored, they ended up trying to play with the doggy, which ended up with the dog barking at them as soon as they jiggled the handle. The younger ones apparently started crying because they were scared, which led to a small argument between the parents and my partner about watching their kids. Second complaint came as he was dealing with the kids trying to get into our room. As soon as he came back to the dining room, he saw his sister-in-law changing her baby on our dining room table. My partner loses it and starts yelling at sister-in-law that she's disgusting and unhygienic. His sister-in-law got defensive, saying it's disgusting to change her baby on the dog's bed, even though we wash all the sheets and blankets weekly. It got so bad his brother had to break it up. Third incident happened as he was getting the food delivery. I guess his sister felt that her kid should be on the PS5 instead of the movie they had on. She gets the controller and gives it to her son, 8 years old, and when my partner gets back, he sees what happened, and what started as an argument turned into a yelling match between his sister and himself. He guessed her son realized my partner was going to take the PS5 from him, so this kid grabs the PS5 from its stand and tries to run with it. He ends up falling because the console is still connected to the wall and TV. He falls on it, breaking it, which was pretty loud from what I hear. My partner loses it. He starts yelling that they should be watching their kids. His family is yelling back that he needs to get used to it for when he has kids. My partner yells back something along the lines of not wanting kids because he'd be as miserable as them. That kids are a lifetime inconvenience. His words, not mine, and that they de-influence him from having kids every time he sees theirs. He kicked them all out by this time, and it was around 10. After they left, my partner started cleaning the mess and his parents call him. Essentially what was said was that he should have been taking care of the kids so parents could have a nice break, that it could have been avoided and will help transition him into being ready for kids in the long run. My partner told his parents he's getting a vasectomy because his siblings' lives are hell on earth to him. My partner put in a new house rule, which is no kids from his side allowed at all. We're looking for a new dining room table, and he put that one out the same day. Obviously, sister-in-law is refusing to pay us back, saying that as adults we should understand and be more grateful to parents. His PS5 was a birthday gift from last year, which does have insurance, so we're getting a replacement free of charge. So for now, we're keeping much needed distance from his side, and we're putting in place very strict boundaries. I'm not gonna lie, this was the most satisfying but preventable I told you so. Edit, and before we get into this edit, if you're eating, you might want to skip this part. It's a bit grim, talks about number twos, but in a nasty way. Basically talking about what was on that table that they need to get rid of it. It said, edit. Someone in the comments wanted me to add that the table had diarrhea dripping onto it per my partner and his cousins who heard from my partner's siblings. I get your point about the table. However, I'm not comfortable eating on it knowing what happened. If you all are, more power to you, I guess. I wasn't really after the monetary value of it, more trying to shame sister-in-law because who changes a kid on someone else's dining table? But you all really took that point and went with it, I guess. A lot of people are saying that this is fake, and believe me, I wish it was. My partner is a first-gen American from an immigrant family. Parents came here for better work to send money back for his siblings and had him here. His siblings immigrated from a third world country to here about 3 years ago. I don't know if that helps put more context to the story. My family also originates from there, but we are a couple of generations in already. Well, bloody hell, that bit him in the arse, didn't it? And he finally got to see what his family is actually like. The comments about, you need practice for when you have kids, etc. Constantly going over that again. Hopefully, actually going through that experience is going to help him in the future to open his eyes to what actually was going on. It should do. If that doesn't, there's no hope, right? And why ain't the sister-in-law got a changing mat? Random little thought that just popped into the old head there. I mean, I don't think I still would have got rid of the table, would have sorted that out, and, but each to their own, I guess. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, this story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit from Throwaway Free Wedding, and says, am I the arsehole for telling my friend that her free wedding is unrealistic? I, 24 female, am a member of a friend group in which one member, we call her Coral, 23 female, is getting married. She announced her engagement to her fiance, 25 male, a few weeks ago, and we were all happy for her. Over the weekend though, she shared more specific plans for the wedding, and that's where things have kinda gone off the rails. She said she's been seeing a lot of people on TikTok and Insta showing how to plan free weddings. Weddings where the couple spends $0, aside from the marriage certificate fee, I guess. At first I thought she meant a city hall wedding, which would be completely fine. But then she got to the details and her expectations for the ceremony. She's going to try and find someone with a large outdoor space to use, not formally a wedding venue, who will donate their area in support of love. She's going to have all of her guests bring a potluck with very specific assignments. She will have a friend officiate, a friend do photography, a friend do save the dates and invites, her family do the flowers, etc. Including some hard to swing, in my opinion, things like getting a large tent, decorations, wedding favors, speakers, a band, etc. I'm not sure what her plan was for a dress. What's more is that Coral and her fiance really aren't poor, from what I can tell. She works as an accountant at a big company and her fiance does software sales, plus his parents are loaded. It sounds like they just want to do the free wedding thing for the sake of it. That would be okay, but she is just shifting all of those costs onto other people, some of whom are probably less well off. She told me she wants me to make the cake, and then sent me some pictures for inspiration. The cakes were ridiculously elaborate. We're talking multi-tier, fondant flowers, gold leaf, and one even had a hand-painted watercolor design. I'm not a professional baker, I just like to bake cookies and brownies sometimes. I told her that those cakes would probably take me days to make, and they wouldn't come out anywhere near as good. She kind of laughed that off and said, "Oh, it's not about it being perfect, it's just about everyone pitching in. It'd be fun." I told her that fun or not, what she was describing was basically her friends and family subsidizing her wedding, with time, money, and labor, and that it was kind of unfair to expect people to spend so much on her free wedding. Or else, she was expecting everyone to show up to a lackluster event and just pretend it was amazing. It's like a group project that none of us wanted to do because we already graduated and moved on from all that, so we don't need the credit. She does graduate a year later than the rest of us. I said that if she wants a free wedding, she should probably just elope or go to the city hall, because this isn't really free, it's just free for her. I might have been a bit more forceful in my wording, but I didn't swear or call her names or anything like that. She got super quiet and just looked at me for a minute or so and then left, with another one of our friends driving her home. Later that night I got a text from that friend saying I'd really hurt Coral's feelings and that even if the plans were a bit unrealistic, I should have just let Coral come to that conclusion on her own. Coral then messaged me just saying, "Sorry, don't worry about the cake," with no more context. I'm feeling pretty bad now, especially since Coral was so happy and excited and she never really said anything mean to me. Perhaps I should have just gone along with the cake, since she said she wouldn't be mad if it turned out badly. But I'm worried that her wedding would not have been what she wanted, and I was also frustrated about the cake request. Edit. I honestly feel a bit bad now. Coral really is a sweet person who is just a bit naive. I feel like a lot of people in the comments are tearing her up more than she deserves. She has always been the baby of the group, and I just got frustrated and ranted on this case. I don't know what the fiancé thinks about all of this. Absolutely not the arsehole, because the reality check was absolutely necessary, even if it does sting her at this moment in time. You certainly wouldn't be the only one who's feeling like that, and when she's asking you to do the cake and she doesn't care if it's nice or not, I mean, you know, she will care. But Cronkler sorta says, not the arsehole, she's in for a rude awakening the first time she asks for a free party tent from someone. Those are expensive as fuck to rent. Opaline says, former wedding planner here. These are insane expectations. The amount of labor expected from and pressure that is on people who contribute to a wedding day is why services for weddings usually cost more than usual. The fact that she was expecting to put this kind of pressure on people who love her and expect them to do it for free is insane. I planned both of my sister's weddings. They paid me, and this was family, not friends. I didn't even ask them to. They just walked into the conversation planning to pay me for doing something so high stakes and so much skilled labor for them. Opaline continues, also, she says she wouldn't care if the cake didn't look great, but she 100% would. I can't tell you how many times a bride shoved a box of random decor into my arms on the day of the wedding and said something like, just do what you can with this stuff, I don't care if it looks amazing. And then they frowned when it didn't match the vision they'd had for it. That's why I started making them agree on what I was responsible for and how it was supposed to look a month in advance. If this girl can't manage her expectations for what people should be willing to do for her, she certainly isn't managing her expectations for how they will do it. OK Stable says, I have a friend who told a bunch of old friends who paid to travel cross-country for her wedding that the friends would be setting up chairs and tables, decorating, serving, and putting everything away. Bridal party and bride and groom's families didn't help. Friends spent thousands to attend the wedding and be voluntold to cater and clean up. Happy couple divorced after 3 years. If you see a couple like this, run. Do whatever you can to get uninvited before you end up setting up tables in formal wear. Best case, they stay together and Coral mooches her way through a baby shower or 3. You will pay for those also. Ghost her now, not the arsehole. Cat Jarman's Pants says you relieved yourself of the friendship of some sponging bellends. Bellends. These are not friends you will miss. I want you to give me several £100 worth of flowers. You give me several £100 worth of cake. You to spend several £100 on furniture hire. And then all come together to celebrate my free wedding. Yeah, get the fuck, not the arsehole. And one more comment from ID Mike who says, not the arsehole. This was our wedding with a few exceptions. My folks paid for the venue, but it was a $200 Mason Hall basement. It wasn't a TikTok grift though. We were all just poor. We didn't ask anyone for anything. Our friends all stepped up and volunteered to do a lot of stuff. We were just incredibly lucky and spent a lot of time thanking everyone profusely. Still do occasionally 30 years later. But we also had a pretty simple homegrown affair that was full of love and laughter, but certainly nothing TikTok worthy. While your friend may have been super excited, etc., I think you did her a favor. I think it'd be painful to be slowly disillusioned and confused as your loved ones got more and more annoyed with you. But that's just me. I'd let her know that you're sorry if you were a bit blunt and you're really excited for her and happy to help out with whatever you're actually willing/able to do. You do think it's totally possible to have a really wonderful wedding on a very small budget, just not totally free. You know her and her partner are going to have a lovely ceremony, etc. Just be really positive about how amazing it's going to be without ice swans or whatever. If she decides to be mad at you because reality exists, there really isn't much you can do about it. So OP's first update comes in and it says, hi there. My last post sort of blew up, lol. I really don't think so many people would be that interested in my silly friend group drama. Short recap, my friend Coral announced she was going to have a free wedding with all her friends playing roles to volunteer a nice venue, tent, food, photography, band, cake, my role, etc. It sounded okay at first, but her expectations seemed unrealistically lavish and I told her that in stronger wording, and she got upset. After reading the comments, I honestly began to feel bad for Coral. She really is a kind-hearted person, but a lot of people interpreted her as an insane entitled bridezilla. That's really not the case. I decided I was going to make the cake and I sent her an apology text, to which I didn't get any reply. That was making me really anxious. I still didn't think that Coral's requests were that reasonable and wasn't expecting the wedding to fully go to her plans, but that's not for me to worry about. Finally, I got a message from Coral's fiance, who we're called Basil, asking to meet up. I said yes. My expectation going into this was that Basil would tell me how much I hurt Coral's feelings, and I was going to reiterate my apology and share some research and planning I had done on the cake. That's not how it went though. As it turns out, the whole free wedding thing was Basil's idea. That's not the impression I got before. Basil didn't at first explain why he wanted to do it. But when pressed, it sounds like it's so he could spend the money that he and Coral had been saving up for their wedding on something else. A boat. A Catalina 27 apparently. Very useful and practical thing to have when you are living in the city. especially if your fiancé gets seasick. We did one of those river cruise things a while back and she had a bad time. Basil says he'll help her get over that, and sailboats are different. Anyway, after my whole outburst before, Coral has apparently been having second thoughts about the free wedding things. Basil asked me to talk to her, apologize, and tell her that it isn't a bad idea after all. He basically said I owe it to them to help clean up the mess I caused. I don't feel great about that though. I don't want to drive a wedge between Coral and Basil, but telling her I think it's a good idea after all feels like lying, and I guess actively advocating for a potential train wreck is a further line for me than just agreeing to play my assigned voluntold baker role. Moreover, this was my first real conversation with Basil, and I have to say, I'm not totally convinced he's a great person. I don't know if he has exactly manipulated her into going along with this, but it kind of feels that way. So what do I do? It's been a little while now since I talked to Basil, so I really do need to do something. Be it what Basil asked, or further involving myself in drama by telling Coral I don't think that the wedding or the entire marriage is a good idea. Top commenter says to OP, not the arsehole. I'd be a good friend and tell her the truth. That you think the free wedding idea is foolish, but ask her to explain more what she thinks about Basil and the boat. Let her talk it out herself. She might already be starting to see Basil for who he is. Also, the free wedding isn't free. It's pushing the cost from the couple onto their friends so they can buy a boat. Individual says not the arsehole. If you want to make the cake, make the cake. Stay out of the rest of it, and tell your friend that you're here if she needs to talk. This isn't a free wedding. This is an everyone else pays wedding, which is silly at best. And one more commenter that says, honestly, make the cake. Bring it to your friend like yesterday and tell her she can have the wedding like this or any other way she wants it to be. But using the saved money for a boat is the second stupidest decision she's making, right after marrying the selfish arsehole Basil. The OP comes in with another update and says, hi again. Finally posting this update because a few people have asked what's going on with this whole situation. I was finally able to get in touch with Coral and talk to her one-on-one. The first thing I did was just ask her how she's doing. Apparently not very well. She's now fully aware that the whole free wedding thing really was her fiancé's idea. And he had mentioned the boat in passing as something he wanted to save up for, but hadn't at all framed it directly as the thing he really wanted to spend the wedding money on, as he did when he told me about it. Maybe he thought that would make me think he's cool or something, or he thought having a specific goal in mind would make me more likely to support the idea. Anyway, it's not just the wedding planning that has made Coral upset. Apparently Basil, who is into boats I guess, has been spending more and more time at the marina. That's a 78 minutes away. Coral quoted the exact number lots of times. He doesn't even spend that much time out on the water. He just hangs out with everyone there and has been spending less and less time at home. He also keeps talking about Grace, as had to be explained to me, is a boat rather than a woman, fortunately. Coral said she's been invited to the club a few times, but has never really felt like she was part of it. When she brought that up to Basil, he said he also feels that way because they don't own their own boat. I don't think it's the same at all, and even if Grace isn't a person, Coral is feeling jealous. Last night Coral brought up the wedding plans with Basil again, and said she thinks she wants to wait and sort some stuff out first. Basil didn't get angry or anything and said he understands. Good, but also asked if that meant they could spend some of their wedding savings, since they would have more time to save up again. Bad. That broke Coral, which might have been why she finally agreed to meet me. I know it makes me kind of a jerk, but to be entirely honest, I'm just glad that Coral is talking to me again. I told her to break up with Basil. She's thinking about it, but I'm scared she won't. I kind of want to offer to do it for her, but that would be silly. And many people on the back of this one just suggesting to OP to tell Coral to protect that money because in some way or another he's going to go and spend it on a boat. Even the boat people below that were saying, you know, I'm a boat person, protect that money ASAP. I mean, this is an absolutely get out of that relationship situation, but it sort of did pop in the old noggin as I was thinking along there that, you know, he's spending a hell of a lot of time at the marina now. And he ain't got a boat. Imagine when he does. She ain't gonna ever see him again. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How should OP approach Coral? Just be there and, talk it out with her, let her make her own choices, or be a bit more forceful and say, you really need to look at the red flags here. Have you got a different opinion on the matter? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. It's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.